All right, your next guest owns Apple and says he would use any sell-off, maybe today, as a buying opportunity. With us, David Katz of Matrix Asset Advisors. They've got more than $1 billion under management. So, David, put your money, I guess, where the mouth is. I assume then you would be a buyer of Apple today.
We would be a buyer of Apple today. Apple is a dominant franchise. They're going to do exceptionally well over the long term. You have to turn down the public negotiation sound, which is causing the daily volatility. You can't make America great again by trying to destroy the greatest company in America. So we think, it's a hideous negotiation. It's in the public. Apple will come to terms with something. Nobody wants to work at an Apple factory in America making iPhones. The production is very, very gruesome. So we don't think that's realistic. We think there's going to be some concessions. Apple will probably agree to build one or two more factories. But we don't think the president ultimately will try to destroy Apple.
Yeah, you probably heard our conversation with Steve, and you might have heard the point at the top where I said, well, I kind of thought Tim Cook and Donald Trump were, if not friends, but friendly. They seem to have. Cook will talk to Trump. There is a working relationship there. Does this move kind of surprise you?
Anything but surprise us. Donald Trump likes to negotiate publicly. He changes his mind on a daily basis. He's very inflammatory. So this is the way he gets. This is the way he tries to negotiate and get things done. So we think this is normal MO for him. And you just have to, as an investor, look through it. If you try to get caught up in the daily pronouncements, you're going to, one, lose your mind, two, lose a lot of money. You got to buy on the dips and not chase the excitement.
Let's try to get politics. I know politics is kind of dominating the headlines today, but let's kind of separate that, because you heard Steve also say that the life cycle of an iPhone is extending regardless of who's in office, right? It just because phones are built better, they're more expensive, they last longer. People used to buy a new phone every 3 years. Maybe now it's every 4 or 5 years. As an Apple investor, do you worry about that? Because if I start upgrading my phone every 6 years instead of every 4 years, regardless of who's in office, that's a hit to sales and then thus a hit to valuation.
Well, if you have these very high tariffs, that definitely is going to slow sales down because what you have is good enough. However, Apple will have a new AI cycle in the next 6 to 18 months. It is going to spur sales. They've been late to the game with AI, but they will get it. They always do figure it out in a very meaningful way. And as they do that, we think there's going to be excitement in buying new phones. And we think Apple's in like a 180 to 240, 250 trading range. So you're within about 10 points to the lows and have $50 on the upside. So we'd be taking advantage of that.